Beckford is so dominant, and she's improved even just from last season. She's the junior opposite for A&M, and she has such a great swing with over 200 kills this year and a fierce serve, and she's really the driving force of the offense with her attitude and experience.
On the other side of the net, Jackson State has won 16 matches in a row, but had a scare earlier today, extended to 5 sets by Prairie View A&M.
They came out strong and finished well, even through a tough match, and it was really about the entire team playing. But you look at China Coleman, she had 11 kills this morning in that win. She hits a heavy ball on the outside for them. She's a very smart player with a great swing, so she's key for them tonight.
Well, let's take a look at the starting lineups for this championship match as fans getting in their places. First, for the Jackson State Tigers, Boggin, Coleman, Larkin, Williams, Don Clark, and Braddock will start for the Tigers. Jackson State has won 16 matches in a row, led by head coach Rose Washington. Coach Washington, a graduate of Jackson State, former 4-sport athlete, native of the island of St. Croix. And on the other side of the net from Rose Washington and the Tigers will be the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, the 3-time defending champions. A lot of all-conference performers here. Of course, we've already touched on Beckford. They are led by Nedra Brown in her 4th season. Coach Brown has not failed to take this program to the NCAA tournament since she jumped on board as the head coach, took over for the legendary Betty Austin, who's now the AD and had won 600+ matches as head coach of the volleyball team before she became the AD. So here we go, Kelly, ready to start this championship. A spot in the NCAA tournament on the line. Last year, that spot was taken by Alabama A&M.
You know, you talked a lot about this earlier, and they went through 2 days of tournament play, and it's double elimination. You're tired, you warm up, you cool down, you warm up, you cool down. It's a really long road to get to this match, so the important thing is to just start fresh now.
And we're set to begin. It'll be Latoya Clark serving to start the championship. Good rally here on the opening point. That is out, so point to Alabama A&M.
I like Jackson State opening up that middle early, and that's Paige Williams in the middle for Jackson State. She's a freshman, and she's tall. She has that volleyball body. Now she just needs to really get control of it to get those kills.
Ashley Foreman, a freshman from Columbus, Georgia, serves. Another great rally, second point. And Kelly, you can see how these two teams split earlier in the season. They appear to be very evenly matched after these first 2 points.
It's a very nice matchup between these two teams, but the important thing for Jackson State, they have to contain Karenza Beckford. Otherwise, they really can't do much here.
2-0, Alabama A&M leads it. Opening set in this best-of-5 set championship. That is a hitting error by Larkin, and it's 3 in a row for the Bulldogs. Foreman, just a freshman. One of the 2 setters Alabama A&M has at its disposal. And there's the first mistake by the Bulldogs. Hitting error on Jenkins gives Jackson State its first point. 3-1 Alabama A&M leads.
It's going to be key for both of these teams to limit their errors early. They need to get into their groove and their rhythm so that they can play good volleyball and actually compete.
Colleen serving. She's a defensive specialist. And another point for the Bulldogs. What about the fact that Alabama easy for me to say. Alabama A&M has swept through this tournament, Kelly. They haven't dropped a set yet, much less a match.
Yeah, they've had it pretty easy. So I think that they come in with an advantage somewhat because they're not as tired. But then you look at Jackson State, maybe they have the advantage because they've actually had to compete over the last 2 days. So I guess it's kind of a toss-up.
winning is a powerful thing, and you could make the case that Jackson State's forgotten how to lose. They've won 16 matches in a row. That dates all the way back to October 15th.
They play with a lot of fire and a lot of heart, and I think that's what's really getting them through the conference this year.
Alabama A&M block is there. Give the block and kill to Jenkins. She and Beckford were both there, but Jenkins gets credit.
The last thing you want to do is just overpass the ball for Alabama A&M to do whatever they want with it, because they are very strong, they're tough, they're smart at the net. They have that great awareness, and you want to make them work and not just give them free points.
Jenkins with the service error. We saw Alabama A&M last year, Kelly. You and I were fortunate enough to do that match at Grambling, and they played against Grambling State. It was a much different atmosphere, very pro-Grambling crowd. The Bulldogs don't have that going against them today, but Jackson State red hot. Cameron Boggin serves. Another kill, and this is from Goodwin. Goodwin, a sophomore from Tucson, Arizona, had 10 kills and 9 digs earlier this morning. Alabama A&M swept Mississippi Valley State to get to this championship. And here's Beckford. Moore out of the back row.
Moore is such a fun player to watch. She has so much energy and fire in her. And you see that she's such an athlete. She gets up, she kind of hangs and sees where she wants to hit the ball. She's just a stud to watch.
The opening that Rogers needed. Krista Rogers, one of those two setters I mentioned earlier, getting the kill that time.
She's more of an offensive-minded setter, so she plays above the net. She puts the ball over on two a lot more, and she's good at it.
Here's the service error by Beckford, her 25th of the season. And it is 8-4, Alabama A&M leading here in this opening set. Alabama A&M wanted a touch, don't get it. It's Jackson State's point. 8-5. And back serving now is China Coleman, first team All-SWAC, the only Jackson State player to make the first team All-SWAC. Double hit, point to Alabama A&M.
So on that double, the important thing to note is when you touch the ball, you want it to come off clean. So a double is when you hit it with both hands, one after the other, and it comes out spinning. And that's illegal in most cases.
Goodwin serving, and another service error. It's ironic because earlier today, Nedra Brown, the coach for Alabama A&M, was saying how spectacular her team has been serving in this tournament. Already a couple of errors.
You know, that's really a mental error and lack of focus. So they just need to focus, and I think they'll get it right back.
Now there's a hitting error by Moore. And Nedra Brown up off the bench talking to Moore in her ear as Denisha Dunn gets ready to serve. She's the tallest player on the floor at 6'2". Larkin misses. No, it was touched, so point to Jackson State. And Jackson State has climbed right back in this set, now trailing by just one. Best of 5 set match for the title and the NCAA tournament berth. Alabama A&M won last year, lost to Florida State in the NCAA tournament. Moore powers through the block.
I like that nice quick set to the outside. It throws off Jackson State's blockers. You see it's a nice pass to the setter. She's able to push it out quick. And when Moore moves her feet and gets on top of the ball, she's unstoppable.
Rose Corneal will serve. She is the two-time Libero of the Year in the SWAC.
The best swing that I have seen from Williams. She gets up, perfect timing. She's up early, a nice quick swing across her body. That's exactly where you want to put the ball, take the setter out of play.
Williams, just a freshman. More, ouch. Not a volleyball right now.
You see her face, it's so fun to watch her right after she hits. She gets up, powers through, only one block up, which is a huge mistake by Jackson State. And she gets up and she knows, that was good, I like that.
Well, these two teams play in the same division within the SWAC, and the tiebreaker system had to be put in effect to see who would get the #1 seed in the bracket. That went to Alabama A&M.
Jackson State was not too happy about that one.
No, there's no love lost between these two programs. They battle throughout the regular season and now have to fight for the NCAA tournament berth. Coleman. Moore. Clarissa Moore picks up the point for the Bulldogs. Moore, the sophomore from Houston, coming off a 14-kill match earlier today.
And another nice set, and she goes up, she sees the opening, a nice tip right into the block and uses the hands.
That cuts the lead to 1. Williams has come on strong here in the opening set.
I think that was an important key for Jackson State, was to get Williams involved early, get her confident. She's young, she needs to feel good so that she can play well.
Williams leads the SWAC in hitting percentage. And Jackson State has leveled this opening set. The Lady Tigers have not gone away. Terry Braddock, the libero, serves. Good dig by Goodwin. Kill for Boggin. And Jackson State has its first lead of the set.
It's a great back set to Boggin, and they're doing a good job of spreading out that offense, utilizing all of their hitters to get points.
How about that serve, Kelly, that floater that Braddock puts in there? You don't see that very often.
You don't, but it's very tough to pass and work with because it's rare and it's just a difficult ball to move to, get your feet under.
We're going to see it again, the serve of Braddock. I mean, it's hard to keep it in the shot. It goes up so high. Beckford with the hammer.
Try and stop that one.
No thanks.
That's a difficult ball to stop because not only is she crossing over in the X play, but she's also a lefty, so the blockers have to move to surround her left shoulder to block that ball.
That ball just goes wide, so point to Alabama A&M. We're deadlocked at 14 apiece here in this opening set. Rose Washington and the Tigers trying to upset Alabama A&M, the 3-time defending champs. They've won 9 of the last 10 SWAC tournaments. And Jackson State with another lead. However, they're going to have to play a complete match today to knock off the Bulldogs. There's timeout on the floor. Jackson State has fought back, clinging to a 1-point lead. However, Carinsa Beckford is not going away. She is here with authority tonight. Jackson State and Alabama A&M, a 1-point difference right now. The 2010 SWAC Women's Volleyball Championship is brought to you by State Farm. Find out why you need your very own State Farm agent at yagent.com. Alabama A&M and Jackson State competing for the right to win the championship and move on to the NCAA tournament. It's interesting in this conference too, Kelly. The coach of the year in the SWAC is the coach of the winning team in the championship. We've already had our all-conference teams, but not coach of the year. That always goes to the winning team's coach.
It's definitely interesting because I think that there are a lot of coaches, specifically these two, that would be up for that. And I think whatever team loses, and we talked about this right before it started, almost kind of deserves to be in the NCAA tournament as well because they're both such good teams with great records. So, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
Jackson State 28-11. Point to Alabama A&M. Let's take a look at the SWAC. They divided into two divisions, and you can see Jackson State and Alabama A&M in the same division, and the one loss was to each other. They split the regular season meetings, but were placed in different brackets here in the tournament and have risen through those brackets to now compete for the overall title. Has it blocked, but out of bounds. Point to Jackson State, and this is the biggest lead of the set for Jackson State.
Both teams are playing pretty nice, scrappy defense right now, which is allowing those rallies to continue. So I think the difference will be who's able to finish at the end of all of those. Jackson
State only hit 161 this morning against Prairie View A&M. A&M actually out-hit them 161 to 179. So this is a good start for Jackson State. Jackson State actually swept Alabama A&M in that match they won. What's more important in volleyball, Kelly, matchup or momentum?
I think it's all about momentum. Even if you are completely, matched up horribly against a team and you're not prepared to play them, if you come in aggressive and get the momentum, anything can happen.
And certainly Jackson State has a lot of momentum, winning 16 matches in a row, and now a 3-point lead as Larkin and the Tigers try to open this up. Rose Washington, her 10th season right now. It's a 10-4 Jackson State run. A little miscue there. 11-4 run now by Jackson State. Dunn back to serve from Austin, Texas, which is going to host one of the NCAA volleyball regionals. Boom. Keep it away from her if you're Jackson State, as Moore crushes another one.
Both teams are doing a good job of out-of-system plays as well. And out-of-system is when there's not a good pass and the setter's scrambling or someone else has to set the ball. And the hitters, mostly the outsides, are standing and moving in the correct place to really get a good touch on the ball.
Well, Larkin mistimed it, but kept it in play. Good hit by Larkin. Point to Jackson State. You have to get to 25, win by 2 to win a set in the first 4. And let's see that again.
Larkin hits such a heavy, straight ball, and it's tough to block unless she's hitting right into the block. She does a great job of moving it. It's nice to see Oregon, a Pac-10 team, on top. Not that I'm biased at all.
From your perspective, it is.
It is. I mean, Auburn's great, but, I think it's cool to see those two in the top 2 spots. It's, with similar teams and both just so dominant this year.
Well, I have to say, as an East Coast guy, I am actually enjoying being more exposed to West Coast football, because for a long time growing up, I couldn't watch teams like Oregon.
Right.
Well, A&M started this set with a 3-0 run. However, Jackson State has poured it on and getting very close to winning this opening set. Alabama A&M really has no more room for error here. 21-18, Jackson State leading. Back to serve, Ashley Foreman. Had 21 assists this morning against Mississippi Valley State over the course of 3 sets. That's a service error by the freshman, and the point goes to Jackson State. So
here's where Alabama A&M has to stop and kind of gain their composure and almost start fresh. They need a great pass here, get a good set, put the ball down, and get some confidence.
Well, you know they're going to try to go to Moore or Beckford. And this time, Clark can't get under it, so the point to Alabama A&M.
I think Jackson State is doing a good job of playing a team game right now, and Alabama A&M is really relying on Beckford and Moore, and you can't always win with 2 great players.
Good dig. Goodwin gets the kill, but you can see the difference Cornel, the libero, makes for Alabama A&M. She kept that going.
She does a great job of getting her body under the ball. She faces to target, which is exactly where she wants the ball to go. She plays like a seasoned veteran.
And the good opening set by Williams continues. 22. They get 23-20, Jackson State leading, and Braddock back to serve. Doesn't float it as much that time. Credit the kill to Moore. Or excuse me, Beckford.
And Beckford did a great job of aiming at the hands of the blocker to get a tool. So when you hit the hands and it goes out of bounds, that's a kill.
Coleman hits into that block and then gets into the face of Alabama A&M's front line. That is the fun thing about this conference. They're not afraid to do a little trash talking out there. Coleman stares down the Bulldogs. Set point. Jackson State the opening set. It is the first set Alabama A&M has dropped in the entire tournament. Jackson State wins a tight opening set against the 3-time defending champions, Alabama A&M. Second set coming up next. Well, Stanford, one of the teams we're all talking about right now nationally is they lost to Cal earlier this weekend. We'll see what that does to the national rankings later this week. Here in Montgomery, Alabama, the opening set is over. Rose Washington and her Jackson State Tigers have taken the first set. Good hitting by both teams in that first set, both over 300, Kelly.
Yeah, it's pretty impressed. 325 and 316. I think the big difference is going to be tightening up the passing. There was a lot of overpasses that both teams were working with. So I think you tighten up your game, focus a little more on the serving, don't make as many errors, and, you know, it'll be another competitive set.
Yeah, 4 service errors by Alabama A&M, and with so much on the line, you can't afford those unforced errors. So Jackson State has won the first set, and it's the first set Alabama A&M has lost at this year's SWAC tournament. It's a best-of-5 set match. The first 4 sets, first to 25 win by 2. If we get to a 5th set, it's first to 15 win by 2. Jackson State had to endure a 5-setter earlier today, but they certainly showed no ill effects or fatigue whatsoever in that first set. In fact, they fell back from behind early.
You know, I think Alabama A&M got comfortable this morning and really all weekend. That might be hurting them right now.
And right away, big swing there by Williams. Carlene serving, 5'4", player from Fairview, Oregon. Came all the way to Mississippi for college. Point to A&M. I really really have enjoyed watching Clarissa Moore's service motion here. I like the swagger. Watch this. Brings that ball back. Love that swing.
I don't know how you have control over that.
It's like a free throw shooter in basketball. That's a ritual.
Yep. I just bounced the ball. My ritual is boring.
And now Braddock is back to serve for Jackson State, who, as we saw, was the opposite, sort of like what you just said. She just floats it in there generally. There it is. Boggin hits it out, and the point to Alabama A&M.
That was a smart shot, though. If that had been an inch inside, it would have been a great kill. She saw that opening on the line there.
And there were huge swings of momentum from Jackson State in that Prairie View match earlier today. At times, they would seem like they could miss, and then at times, it would seem like they couldn't find the inside of the court.
I think it's about inconsistency with some of these teams, and they get really focused and they play well, they get the momentum, and then all of a sudden they just drop off and they don't know how to get it back.
Point to Alabama A&M as Williams misses. Williams, just a freshman, back to serve Prince of Beckford. She's originally from Jamaica, but went to high school in the U.S. In fact, was a high school teammate with Clarissa Moore. How about that high school team? Moore and Beckford on a high school team together.
Pretty good.
Another service error, however. That's the fourth for Alabama A&M. And for Beckford, that's her second. Here's some of her numbers. Second in the SWAC in kills. Kept alive, but to no avail. Point to Jackson State.
Jackson State's doing a good job of finishing, making, few less errors, and that's the important thing here, is who makes less errors and can finish those rallies to keep the momentum going.
China Coleman, first team All-SWAC, only player on the roster to make it. She commits the service error, and that is the first service error of the match for Jackson State. Coleman, 25 aces this year and 65 service errors, so she struggled with that this year. Smart shot there by A&M, that front line with Moore up there.
It's a very nice sweep. So when you block the ball, you get the block, it hits you hard, but when you go up and you touch it and you sweep the ball, you can get a kill off that, and that's a smart play because you have control over where you place it.
We're tied at 5, second set. And point to Alabama A&M. Just went long for Denisha Dunn.
I like that play from Dunn. She sees that back line as a middle. If you can work with the back line and get some kills there, it screws up the defense for A&M.
Good one, good server for A&M. 8th in the conference in aces. Dig by Goodwin. And a mistimed error there by Dunn gives the point to Alabama A&M. And the Bulldogs leading now by 2 here in the second set.
I think Amy Goodwin is one of the better players for this A&M team, and she doesn't get a lot of attention, but as you watch her, she's great in the back row. She has a nice serve. When she goes up to hit, she's powerful. She has a great swing.
It's a 4-0 run right now by Alabama A&M. Another good serve. We're seeing a lot of hustle out here. No one's giving up. Balls that for points you think that are over end up coming right back at you.
Moore does a great job of going up, touching